Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
I was wondering if you could help me out.
I will give it a go.
Appreciate it. So I'm building a glass door entryway. It's actually a glass door in a medical office between the lobby and the treatment area. And I want it to be a 36-inch by 8-foot all-glass door with 2 glass side lights on either side. And the problem I'm having is I really wanted to use a low-energy door opener and closer for the patients. So what I'm trying to do is figure out how to attach the hardware to the glass, or what hardware that I really need. I can't really attach the shoe to tempered glass. So I figure it means I've got to have a head rail and a foot rail. And then I guess I'm just a little bit confused about what hardware I need for the head rail and the foot rail to get it into the floor kind of flush. I really don't want a threshold, and then into the overhead beam.
Well, whoever's going to supply the framing, the header portion, and the glass door is going to give you a means by which to hang the door. It would be a pivot, is what it would be. It'd be pivot hardware.
Yeah, and then I saw but you also have a walking. You were talking about a video about a walking beam type of top pivot. And what I really want is I want the glass to be just completely flush with the wall that it's installing. So I wasn't sure if I could do that, or if I would need an offset pivot or something like that. So I wasn't sure if I would need like a center hung pivot in a rail, an offset pivot where the arms fit into the rail, or a walking beam pivot.
Well, if you want the glass to be flush, and it's not going to be flush because you're going to have, top and bottom rails on the door. Those rails will be on top and below on the glass. That will all be centered in the opening, or it could be biased towards one side. But the glass will not be thoroughly sheer or completely parallel with the side lights.
Right.
I don't see
well, I
how
was going to put
work.
I was going to put rails on the side lights as well. I was going to put the same type of rail on the top and bottom of the side lights as well.
I understand. What you said was you wanted the glass door to be flush with the wall.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I guess what I should have said is I want the sight line of the header and the floor rail to be one straight line, and to mount that as flush with the doorway as possible.
Yeah, so that would be a concern of the glass and aluminum supplier. I'm not an expert in those areas, but everything you've discussed is certainly easy stuff.
Okay, so you think they would know what the best hinges are for that application?
Well, it wouldn't be a hinge; it'll be a pivot. But
I'm sorry, a pivot. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So why low energy?
I just don't need it to open super fast. It's not a sliding door; it's a swing door.
Okay, so the term low energy, and you're using that rather than using what other term?
High energy.
Very good. The difference between the two has nothing to do with the motor, the speed, the weight, the capacity. The only difference between the two applications is whether or not there are sensors.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's a sensor, it becomes high energy and is governed by a different ANSI standard. If there are no sensors, it's low energy.
Yeah, it would be low energy. Yeah.
Okay. So what you could do is you could install. Your aluminum supplier could supply you with a overhead concealed automatic operator that is capable of operating at either low or high energy, completely concealed, will give you complete handicap compliance, and will save you the trouble of having hardware mounted to the egress side of the opening, a big giant box. It'll be up in the header, even though that header will be taller than it would otherwise be. But you could conceal all that. And then that's the top portion of a pivot set inherently. And then you would just have a bottom pivot at the bottom, and that would allow it to completely swing, in a code compliant way.
Yeah, and that definitely was one of the options because I was looking at in-ground, I was looking at overhead concealed, and I was looking at
in-ground can be done as well. Yeah.
Well, but there are problems with each one of those. So, like for example, it's a sheet vinyl floor, and there's no way to make an in-ground look right because there's got to be a cutout for the plate to service it. And I'm very, very concerned with the aesthetics, so I couldn't do that. That would have been ideal. The overhead closers are just really big, and I probably could. And I wasn't really thinking about the surface mount push arm, except that Assa Abloy just came out with this thing called an SW60, which is really, really, really small. It's maybe 2 inches by 2 inches, and you can mount it surface mount on the, like you said, the egress side, and it just looks like it's part of the header.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing you'll have to deal with is the push arm, but again, the problem is it's a tempered glass door, so I can't drill into the glass. So therefore, I got to have the rail, and then I would need some kind of hardware so that the shoe arm could either screw into the rail, which means I might have to drill into the headrail myself and try to get some bolts on there, as long as the channel inside is big enough and it clears the glass. But again, I wasn't sure as to what the best pivot mechanism would be, whether that would be, an offset pivot, a center hip pivot, or that the walking beam top pivot, which you were demoing, but I didn't really understand it completely.
Yeah, forget walking beam. That's center hung and inherently center hung. It's because that vertical axis of pivoting is going to move laterally. I don't know that there would be any proper templating for any sort of automatic operator. It would certainly be center hung is what it's going to be. And then at that point, it's just a matter of the people that are supplying the glass and the aluminum. You're going to tell them, yeah, you need to prep this for center hung pivots. The issue with the SW60, and I'm not an expert when it comes to automatic operators by BSUM or Assa Abloy, is there's a term called the reveal, and you're going to have a reveal, and I don't think that SW60 is going to work with a reveal, and that a reveal other than 0. And reveal is the dimension from the face of the header to the face of the door. And if the next time you walk into a public space and the closer is mounted on the header, you'll notice how that arm is at a 90 degree basically from the face of the door because it's a top jam mount. But because it's at a 90 degree, it can contend with the reveal. Let's say if you had a 5-inch deep frame or a 12-inch deep frame, you can see how the reveal would be different. And I don't think that SW60 will tolerate any reveal at all in a push side mount. It might tolerate it in a...
Yeah, I can't do a pull because the pull's in the reception area, and I don't want people seeing it in the reception area. So I have to have it in the other side with a push application.
Right. The other problem that you've got is you have to have some method of providing a stop, because inherently a center hung pivot will be double acting, so you'll have to physically stop it as well. I
was thinking we could put that in the header and hide it somehow, just a little metal bumper or something in the header.
Yeah, an angle stop, anything really.
Yeah. So now you're making me think an overhead concealed closer might be a better way to go than that SW60 push arm.
It'll be the only way to go. I mean,
only way to go.
No, it's not. But let me back up. You've got to put that big giant thing somewhere. You could put it on the surface, or you could put it concealed in the header. Either way, the header is going to look huge when you're going to do a center hung. The other issue is that if you're looking at these SW 100s, 200s, the 60s, the in-ground, the only people that you're going to be dealing with will be suppliers and integrators, so they're going to handle all of it. I don't think that you're going to have a contractor who can source that material just buying it new and then supplying it and installing it, because the Assa Abloys don't sell complete systems to people who do not field install.
Yeah, very complicated. I had no idea.
It's not.
Okay.
It's just, you're asking for something that's highly imaginative and ingenious.
Yes. Unusual,
okay.
Not common. Yes.
And I had a guy earlier this year wanted to imagine a revolving door. That's what he wanted, a revolving door. He wanted an SW200i inverted, put in the header, and then have a positive 90-degree stop. So while all those parts exist, no one's ever tested it. No one's ever designed it, made sure it works. And you're kind of in that area.
Yeah, that's basically every single thing I specify. It either doesn't exist or hasn't been done before. Yeah, okay. Who do you think would be the best person to do that? A glazing company, a glass door company, or?
So the way it works is it's all geographically bound. You'd have to contact ASA and say, who's in my neighborhood? Because that's, the best guy might be in New York. Well, if you're in Seattle, that New York guy's not getting that work.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And by the way, the technical term for your door is Herculite, is what it would be called.
The glass.
Yeah, you're doing a Herculite door.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks for calling. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.